Hello everybody, welcome back to Phenomenal Views. I am the Phenomenal Critic, and yes, it has been a while since I've been making a video, but you know what? I have been doing a bunch of schoolwork. I have had project after project, but now what? I got some free time, so now, what movie am I here to talk about? Well, what is probably going to be the best movie of this year that I have been told about? Hunger Games Catching Fire. That's probably so. I haven't seen that movie yet. That is not what this review is about. Today, I am reviewing a movie that I haven't seen since it first came out. So I'm just going to tell you all, I have never watched The Hunger Games ever in my life. Never in my life have I ever watched The Hunger Games. But it's okay. It's okay, everybody. It's okay. I watched The Hunger Games and I liked it. I really liked it, everyone. I loved it. There you go. So, yes, I loved The Hunger Games. I cannot wait to watch the sequel. Heck, I can't even wait to review the sequel, which I'm going to be reviewing the sequel very soon. So, first of all, for those who haven't seen The Hunger Games, it is a movie about a book. It is a book that's been made into a movie, and it is actually good. It's like Harry Potter, just not as awesome. It's nothing like Twilight, because Twilight sucked. But anyways, The Hunger Games is about a post-apocalyptic, I can't say the word, a post-apocalyptic world that apparently there was 13 districts, and the government controlled all of them, but people were tired of being controlled, so they were like, alright, you know what, we're gonna go get our freedom back. So you know what? They said, no you're not. So you know what happens? They send out someone out every year to die in a fight to the death known as the Hunger Games. And it is the 74th annual Hunger Games this year. So, we open up to a family who lives in a place of coal miner, in a district with coal miners. We come to a woman named, a girl named Katniss Everdeen, who is with her sister, who this is her first time being put in the Hunger Games. The ages are from 12 to 18 is when you are put in the Hunger Games. So, you know, she wakes up, she's screaming, and, Katniss, her big sister, who's played by Jennifer Lawrence, sings her a song that makes her fall asleep. So, while she puts her sister back to sleep, Katniss goes out and she tries to hunt. And it's on a day, like, where there's peacekeepers around. So she runs into her friend Gale, who scares off the deer, but then he pays her back by allowing her to shoot an owl, a pigeon. So they're talking about how many times their name is entered in the Hunger Games and how Gale wants them to in the Hunger Games, because all the Hunger Games really is, it's just a show. It's basically like if you watch the movie Host, like, torture porn, it's where you basically watch that and you get to cheer for who's going to live or who's going to survive. So, we come to the day of the Hunger Games and like how beautiful her sister Prim looks, and how beautiful that, how beautiful Katniss looks. And so, they're going up there, and we get everyone from District 12. Everyone from District 12 is, well, in the area of District 12. So, we get this woman who I swear is the love child of Harley Quinn and Joker, but she was so pathetic looking, Joker thought it was so funny, he just didn't kill her. I don't know. Joker, I really wish you would have killed her. Joker, my man, please, kill your child. I mean, it's not like you have Box Lunch from Danny Phantom, who's the ghost of Box Ghost and the Lunch Lady, which that's gross, but she actually has a purpose. This woman's just freaky. The love child of Harley Quinn and Joker. Dang. She was freaky. And, like, they showed this film of, like, how the reason why the Hunger Games is happening, and she's quoting the movie word for word. And, like, at the end of it, she's like, oh, I just love that. I just love that so much. Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. So, we get to where, like, they draw out the name of the girls first, because ladies first, and then we get the boys. The girl's name is Primrose Everdeen. So Prim is getting ready to go up to the stage to tell who she is, but then Katniss runs out and she says, I volunteer in her place. District 12's very first volunteer. Katniss volunteers for her sister, so her sister will not die. So she gets a couple minutes with her sister after she's announced, and then we get the boys' announcement, who is Peeta Mellark, who is played by Josh Hutcherson. And they've met each other before. So when they get on stage, it's so awkward. Like, they just don't look at each other. They're just like this. It's just like this. Okay. Shake hands. Oh, this is so awkward. This is so very awkward. So yeah, So then, like, then they each get time with their family. It just shows what Prim goes through, though. And, you know, they talk about, like, how Prim can hunt and everything like that. You know, and her sister's like, you know, maybe you can win. And, you know, she's being brave for Prim. And then Gale comes in, and he's like, you know, you're smarter than them. You're stronger than them. You can hunt. She's like, yeah, I can hunt animals. So, then we get to where they go to this big place where they, like, you know, have to be scrubbed and bathed and waxed and all that stuff, where they have to meet the designer, Senna, who makes them look like, gives them respect to each district. And, you know, all their district is coal miners. So, you know, Senna's like, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't think that someone should just dress up in a costume to represent their district. So what he does is he puts PETA and Katniss in these dragon suits that I was like, okay, what's going on here? So, like, they're all at this thing called the Reaping. It's where they bring out all the people from all districts, and the president talks to them about, you know, thank you for your sacrifice and all that stuff. But, like, Caesar Flickman, who has blue hair. What's up with people's hair in this time? I mean, we're in the year 2013, almost in the year 2014, and the next year's going to be 2015. We don't have the flying cars yet. I don't think Back to the Future had anything about people having ridiculous freaking hair. It was just so awkward. People's eyebrows were like this freaking long. They looked like freaking thorns. So, like, everyone's having to get pampered up and stuff. So, like, all of a sudden, they're like, what is going on here? And they have flames in the shape of wings on their backs. It's so cool. It's so awesome. They're just like, fire wings. And then PETA comes to grab Katniss's hand. She jerks away, but he says, come on, they'll love it. You know, so, like, they raise their hands saying, hey, I'm not afraid I love my district. I'm not ashamed to be in my district. And so then the president talks about, you know, happy Hunger Games, may the odds ever be ever in your favor. The old slapstick that Harley Quinn and Joker's misused child was announcing earlier. So then, on the way to this big city, they run into their mentor, Haymitch, who is the survivor of the 50th Hunger Games, who is their mentor, but he is also a drunk. And we find out that the characters... There's a difference between PETA and Katniss. Katniss is not exactly good at making friends, considering the fact that when she wanted to know what was going on and how to survive, her mentor was like, can you pass the jam? She takes a freaking knife and almost stabs him in the head. And Joker's daughter's like, that is mahogany! Mahogany! It's like, well, you just assassinated a cloth on the paper. You're gonna do great. You know the thing how you win? You make people like you. And, well, you know what, sister? You ain't doing so good. So, like, PETA's all excited to be there and everything, and so then, like, we keep going, like, they get, like, this humongous penthouse, and this is a freaking sweet place. Their TV is a freaking window. And, like, you know, like, Katniss is looking through each district. I guess they have each district, and she sees her own, and she's looking at it, and then she turns it off because she knows she's gonna cry if she doesn't turn it off. So, like, they all get here to dinner, and, like, you know, they're talking about each other and, like, how they can shoot a bow, how Katniss is good with shooting a bow, and how PETA's good at throwing stuff. PETA's got really good strong arms. So then they go to the next couple days. The next couple days they go through this training simulation, and the woman's like, forever how much you pay attention to me is how well you have a chance at surviving. They have to go through all these different tests. Throwing knives, they learn about each district, they learn about the 1st and 2nd district, who are basically trained. They're like the Spartans. Okay, when Spartans were little kids, they were through into training for 13 years, and they're trained to be freaking hostile until the Hunger Games. Except on the difference is, if they were weak, I'm pretty sure they just pretty much beat them and said, hey, you got to do this anyway. You've got to train harder anyway. Instead of, like, you know, in Sparta, where if you suck, you know, you die. So, you know, they all have to do these obstacles, like finding the right pair of leaves or something, how to start a fire, like training with weapons and bows and stuff. I know. It's like Deadpool's freaking wet dream. You see all these freaking weapons. I mean, Deadpool would be like, ha ha ha, yeah, all the stuff I can shoot myself in the head with and won't die. Alright, look at all this weaponry! I mean, I was like, holy crap. I want this room. I want this penthouse. I want all these weapons. So everyone's like training and stuff, like doing these obstacles, and Peeta falls. And Katniss is like, all right, look, you need to go show off your strength. You're gonna get eaten alive. So like District 1's laughing at him. All of a sudden, he just gets like this big, humongous ball. It throws it, and they're like, oh. Not bad. Not bad at all. So, so, you know, after that, you know, they go on the show, and we first get talking with, Katniss, who is very nervous, and, you know, Caesar, they go through every single one of these. Every single one of these is a talk show with Caesar, like, you know, he talks about, you know, what is it like being in the Hunger Games, you know, are you ready? The basic kind of stuff like that. And they talked to Katniss about how they thought it was very awesome of her to take the place of her sister, Primrose. And then after, apparently, the dress that she has on, it's the flames. Like, she spins around and around and around. Like, she almost, like, just fire. I don't want a dress, but I want clothes like this. I want clothes that, like, spark fire. You know, whenever I get mad, you touch me, I'm gonna burn you alive. I'm the Human Torch's love child. That was so weird. But, so then, Peeta comes out and he talks about, they ask him, is there a special woman in your district? He's like, no, not really. And then he admits that he has a thing for Katniss. Afterwards, Katniss gets at him and tries to kill him. It's like, what the heck? You never say anything to me, but you have a crush on me? What's all about that? And so, you know, afterwards, you know, she comes and apologizes, like, and, you know, they can't sleep. Of course, so if you're getting ready to go in a battle ring fighting to the death, you know, I couldn't sleep either. Like, you know, with Johnny Cage, Mortal Kombat, I hate this place. I do. I hate it. I'm in a totally unprepared environment. I'm completely surrounded by a bunch of people who want to kick my butt. It's like being back in high school. So, you know, the next day, you know, they're talking with Haymitch, and how Haymitch is like, look, you can do this. And the reason why he's got so much more faith in Katniss is because, they each get scored on their performance. The performance that Katniss gives, you know, like, you have all these people watching you. So she shoots a bow, but it doesn't go where she wants it to go. So, you know, everyone's, like, laughing, and she shoots it again, and it hits the guy in the head. But they're not paying attention, so you know what she does? She takes a freaking arrow and shoots an apple that was in a pig's mouth, and it just goes to the wall. And they're like, holy crap. And it's like, thank you for your consideration. And I was like, she showed you guys, which I thought was freaking hilarious, because all these guys are freaking douchebags. You know, like, how can she concentrate if you're all just sitting there watching her like, you better press this or you're gonna die. So, like, the woman is like, how dare you? You have any idea what you've done here? You've ruined yourself. And then, like, their mentor's like, oh man, I wish I could have seen it. So what did you say afterwards? Thank you for your consideration. It's like, hey, calm down, have a drink, loosen your blouse, it's too tight, something like that. I like her dress. I don't like yours. Yeah, I don't like anything this woman wears. She's freaky. So, you know, then after that, we get to the games themselves. And each arena, I guess, is different, because it shows in the footage that Katniss was watching. Katniss finds they show some footage from the last Hunger Games, and it was like in a Roman Colosseum. So the arena is different every year, and I can't wait to see what the arena is going to be in Catching Fire, which I hope I get to go watch tonight. So anyway, we get to the arena, and it's a wide open forest. Now, Haymitch says, look, there's going to be a bow there, but you do not go for it, because that's just waiting for you to get killed. So, you know, like, her and Peeta just go off in different directions while everyone else is going for stuff, and everyone starts killing people left and right. Kids are killing each other. I was like, my gosh, government, you're a bunch of douchebags, worse than you normally are. I mean, dang. Huh. So, like, you know, like, Katniss stays in trees because she's smart. You know, she stays in trees, and, you know, she's just watching out for herself, and everyone wants Katniss dead because she got the highest score on her training level. She got a freaking 11. Peter got an 8. Katniss got a freaking 11. So, like, everyone's all pissed off at her, like, oh, you witch, you're gonna die. So, you know, as she is staying in the trees, a bunch of groups form together, and they're going after Katniss, and she finds out Peeta's in the group, but Peeta kind of has this shadow. Her name is Rue. And, you know, she stays close to Katniss, but they don't start teaming up until later on. It's not until after she falls asleep and she has a dream. No, she wakes up, and there's a little camera on the trees. It's weird. So like, she finds like this wasp nest, and it's generated wasps. Like they're mechanical. So they're like, are those what I think it is? Those wasps are mechanically designed. They're more deadly, and their venom is much more poisonous. So what she does to the other district people, she freaking cuts the branch that all these things are stinging her, and it falls on one of the District 1 chicks. Like, it stings her so much. Everyone else runs off. Like, she got stung so much that, that she was starting to hallucinate. So, she hallucinates about when their dad died. Apparently, her mom was mute, like, wouldn't talk at all. And so she had a flashback to, like, when she was screaming, like, why don't you say something? Say something. And so, then she wakes up, and we find out that Rue helped her. Rue nursed her back to health, and she was out for a couple days. And how they determine who's been taken out, I mean, like, this is all under surveillance. Like, the arena's like a hologram, I guess you could say. Like, it's not really there. It's like the Danger Room in X-Men, just without the explosive and stick. One thing that keeps happening is the guy with like this awesome beard. It looks like he's got waves on his face. He keeps talking to the president about how the president just says, what's the point of these games if we just go and kill 24 people and they'll see how serious we are? And so, I'm like, this guy's a douche. I honestly hope he dies like the third movie. I know there's going to be a third movie, but... So, like, every time he keeps back talking to him, he's like, I don't like underdogs. Why don't we just kill her? And every time Katniss gets closer to another district, they try to kill her. But the thing is, the Hunger Games can only have one victor. So they keep making different announcements. Excuse me, there's been an announcement. Instead of having one victor from one district, if there's two members from the same district, they will be the winners. They changed that, and so that automatically, she's like, okay, I gotta find Peeta. But when she runs into Rue, they find out that all the number 1 and 2 districts have combined together, and they've gotten all the food and put it into a pyramid. They've redug up the landmines, and so like what Prim does, doesn't get her bow and arrow until after she kills the chick with the bees. So like, she uses the bow to set off all the landmines, and all the 1 district people break this kid's neck because he failed at securing the food. So then she and Rue walk off, and they make a signal with singing birds like the birds repeat it back. Then we find out that Prim got caught, and all of a sudden here comes this dude. He throws a spear. Katniss moves, take out a freaking arrow, and shoots him in the face, Green Arrow style. And then we find out Prim got stabbed, and she dies. But before she dies, she takes care of her like a mother of a sick child, like a sick child. Look what she does with her sister Prim, and she sings the lullaby. And before she dies, she sings it to her, and then she closes her eyes out of respect. And then apparently what they do whenever they're with someone that dies in their arms, she does this, and then raises her fingers up in the air, and then like all the people in District 11 just start going, beating they're upset. And I think this was Rue's dad, because like he starts walking off, like they just start tearing everything up. Like they actually have to call in like all these white soldiers that look like stormtroopers, they look like stormtroopers, but it's when the stormtroopers are like, you know what, we don't need to handle this, send these people in. They don't have guns. I don't understand why they don't have guns. They just have nightsticks and riot shields. But, I guess whatever works. So when they blow up the tree, she gets injured, and apparently what their instructors can do is, send them things, like soup or medicine, but it's in like the trees or something. I don't know how it works. And then they make another announcement after she finds Peeta, who does this very cool trick with painting himself to blend in with the environment. She finds out that he got hit with a sword. She goes to get the medicine, but she's attacked by a girl named Clove from District 1 who killed Rue. And the guy from 11 grabs her by the throat and like just slams her head first and, saves her. And he's like, this is only one time, 12, but for Rue. So then she goes and she gets the medicine, and it's like a television show. This whole thing is like a television show. The reason they want Peeta and Katniss to win is because they all think they're lovers. So she kisses him once. And then she gets a letter from her instructor saying, what kind of kiss was that? So, he doesn't want her to leave because he doesn't want her to die or anything. So, then they kiss, and then they wake up and just like, hey, you know what? We can go home. It's just us now. We're the only district left. And So when they go off and decide, hey, we're going to go hunt or whatever, the cannon goes off again. And so they come running to find each other, and they find out that someone was following them, and she ate the wrong kind of berries that PETA had. So like they keep the berries with them, and like they're walking, and like it's morning already. But then like the people start making